Hey everyone, and welcome to this explainer. Let's be real for a second. If you've ever found yourself wide awake at 2 a.m., desperately shuffling through sleep playlists, just hoping and praying that a random rain sound or some drone track is finally gonna knock you out, well, I've got some absolutely fantastic news for you. There is a version of sleep audio that most people have just never tried correctly. We're not talking about some weird marketing gimmick here. It's an actual, scientifically tested audio stack that targets the brain's sleep mechanisms, and honestly, most of us are just doing it totally wrong. So today we're going to look at exactly how to build the ultimate relaxation audio stack by combining binaural beats and ASMR. And it's all based on some seriously fascinating scientific research. Let's get into it. Right off the bat, I really want you to ask yourself, are you doing sleep audio all wrong? Look, if your current routine is basically just throwing on a random hum or maybe listening to a solo ASMR track that just isn't getting you across the finish line into actual sleep, your frustration is incredibly valid. You're not failing at sleep, right? Your audio toolkit is just, well, incomplete. We're going to look at a groundbreaking study out of Korea University that serves as the ultimate solution to this exact problem, showing us how to layer sounds on purpose.
Section 1, the sleep audio problem.
Okay, let's dive right into this by exploring why our current solo audio methods, like basic ASMR or plain binaural beats, often leave us just staring at the ceiling, feeling more awake than before we even put our headphones on. We really need to understand the individual pieces before we can start stacking them. So let's start with binaural beats. The whole concept is actually fascinating. When you play two slightly different sound frequencies, one in your left ear, one in your right, your brainstem doesn't just hear two tones. It actually perceives this third phantom pulse that represents the mathematical difference between the two. The theory here is that if we tune this phantom pulse to the theta wave range, which is right around 6 hertz, we can gently nudge the brain toward that drowsy pre-sleep state. It's an amazing theory for sure, but there's a massive flaw in the execution. The problem with binaural beats becomes crystal clear pretty quickly. A 2023 systematic review published in PLOS One by Inghetto and colleagues actually looked at the data and found that the real brainwave entrainment effect is, well, pretty weak and highly inconsistent. And honestly, the biggest problem is that they are just so boring. It's this monotonous, featureless hum that completely lacks any emotional engagement. Because it doesn't hold your attention, what happens? Your mind starts wandering right back to tomorrow's to-do list. You get frustrated and you end up just turning it off. The abandonment rate is incredibly high. So, what about ASMR? Autonomous Sensory Meridian Response audio is basically the complete opposite. It's emotionally rich, it uses whispering, personal attention, and gentle care to create the sense of genuine calm. In fact, a 2018 PLOS-1 study by Pereiro and colleagues proved that ASMR reliably lowers your heart rate by about 3 beats per minute. It's highly engaging and deeply pleasant, so you actually want to keep listening to it. But it has a major blind spot. It doesn't target specific sleep frequencies in the brain. And this brilliantly illustrates the magic of what we call the flaw-fixing contrast. We start to realize the secret isn't just that both of these audio types are good, it's that putting them together means each one perfectly solves the other's biggest weakness. Think about it. Binaural beats bring the scientific frequency nudge, but they totally fail at engagement. ASMR brings the engagement and the physical calm, but it fails at frequency targeting. Put them together, and suddenly, you finally have a complete sleep tool. Section 2, the science of stacking. Now, we aren't just guessing that these two sound good together. Back in 2019, Minji Lee and colleagues at Korea University published a game-changing study in Frontiers in Human Neuroscience, where they actually built this exact stack. They took a 6 hertz binaural beat, landing right in that sleep-inducing theta band, and they combined it directly with ASMR triggers. Then they measured people's brain activity. And guys, the results were astounding. The researchers didn't just see a basic average of the two sounds, the combination induced significantly more theta power in the brain than either component produced on its own. Stacking them amplified the sleep-associated signature dramatically. Now, what's really interesting here is this crucial 30-to-60 ratio. The researchers at Korea University found that you can't just mash these two audios together at the exact same volume and call it a day. The balance matters immensely. They discovered that a roughly 30 to 60 decibel ratio of the binaural beat to the ASMR trigger was literally the absolute most effective balance for inducing that precious theta brainwave activity, while also providing self-reported psychological stability. So the crucial takeaway here is that the ASMR has to be the star of the mix. In practical terms, this 30 to 60 ratio means the ASMR should be clearly louder, placed right up front of your attention.
The binaural beats, that needs to just sit quietly underneath, acting as the subtle underlying bed of sound for the whole thing to work properly. If the beat is competing with the ASMR for your attention, the whole stack just falls apart.
And the broader research absolutely backs up why the stack's individual components are just so powerful when you harness them properly. If you look at the 2024 randomized controlled trial by Lynn in geriatric nursing, it confirms that binaural beat music reliably improves sleep quality and heart rate variability all on its own. Then, look at the 2015 Peer survey by Barrett and Davis, which found a staggering 82% of ASMR users already instinctively reach for it to help them fall asleep. That's huge. Both components independently prime the body for rest. Stacking them simply unlocks their full combined potential.
Section 3. Why the stack wins. Okay, so we know the science says it creates more theta waves, but why does this specific audio combination actually keep you listening in the dark without your mind just wandering off into stressful thoughts? I absolutely love this metaphor. Think of building a campfire. The ASMR is the kindling and the flame. It's warm, it catches your attention immediately, and it gives your active mind something comforting to rest on. But kindling burns out quickly, right? The binaural beat is that slow-burning log underneath. It's quiet, steady, and provides a deep, lasting foundation. Neither one is quite enough on its own to keep you warm all night, but together, they catch perfectly and they last.
This stack works so perfectly because of adherence, first and foremost. It's simply engaging enough that you don't quit out of pure boredom. It utilizes a layered mechanism, hitting your parasympathetic nervous system for physical calm while simultaneously giving your brain a theta frequency nudge. It also respects honest limits, recognizing that binaural beats are often oversold as a magic hack. Here, they're exactly what they should be, a supportive tool. But most importantly, a richer, layered soundscape occupies way more mental bandwidth. And when the audio takes up more of your mental processing power, it quite literally leaves less room for your own racing thoughts.
Section 4. Build your sleep stack. All right, now we get to the really fun part, exactly how you can apply this tonight. You might want to take a mental screenshot of this scientifically tested recipe. Step 1 is completely non-negotiable. You absolutely must use headphones. Binaural beats simply do not exist in the brain without a separate, isolated tone in each ear. Step 2, select a theta range beat, anywhere from 4 to 7 hertz, but ideally 6 hertz based on the research we just talked about. Step 3 is that golden ratio. Balance the volume so the ASMR is clearly louder and the beat is just a quiet hum beneath it. Step 4, pick sleep-suited ASMR triggers. Look for slow, soft, unhurried sounds with long whispers and zero sharp noises. Finally, Step 5, start this audio about 20 minutes before you actually want to sleep, keeping the total volume at a comfortable, conversational level of roughly 60 to 70 decibels. I do want to add a really quick safety tip here. If the binaural beat ever gives you a headache or makes you feel dizzy, simply drop the beat and just keep the ASMR. Always listen to your body. And of course, a quick reminder that this explainer is strictly for educational and informational purposes, not medical advice. Always consult a healthcare professional for any chronic sleep or health concerns you might have. So, tying it all back together, are you ready to build a fire for your sleep tonight? This ultimate relaxation stack isn't some fleeting internet marketing trend. It's a real, scientifically tested formula that's just waiting for you to use it. A quiet theta binaural beat resting under a warm, engaging ASMR layer, perfectly balanced to cover each other's weaknesses. Try putting this together tonight. Let the ASMR draw you in, let the binaural beat do the heavy lifting in the background, and finally give your brain the complete toolkit it needs to rest. Sleep well, everyone.